The older the fiddle, the sweeter the music. Who knows what movie that's from? So today is my birthday. And I owe you guys a walking tour of the farm and to show you what's happened in the last few months. So I've been recording and I just haven't had time to upload on YouTube, but thank you for your encouragement and continuing to watch. My birthday to me, and probably for most people, is a time of reflection. You know, it's the new year of you. And I just think, gosh, this June 6th to last June 6th, like everything that's happened. You know, Danny passed July 11. I went out on my own legal practice June 1. So, you know, a lot has changed. Like the definition of PTO, that used to mean paid time off. Now it means power takeoff. And it's, you know, I've been learning about machinery and how to put attachments on and off. So I like that definition of PTO better anyways. Just, gosh, so much has been going on. In the last week, I got my septic plat recorded, which is a huge deal in Williamson County. That was a very, very tiring process. Took 9 months, which actually is like pretty quick for here. I just submitted for my building permit, the first steps of my building permit to build the horse barn. I'm pretty certain I know who I'm gonna hire to build the barn. So lots of really, really good stuff in the last week or so, which is really exciting. And the farm continues to evolve. Like I said, I'm gonna do a walking tour in a minute and show you how everything looks. And, you know, it's just really, life is funny. I mean, I've never had this much going on. You know, Danny was a huge, huge, huge source of knowledge and support and encouragement. And, you know, he's not here in the physical form anymore. And it's just very ironic that I've never had more going on and, you know, could use his help now more than ever. But I'm figuring it out. I know he's with me. The community's been really kind and good and helpful. The county extension office I've learned a lot from. I'm definitely not shy to ask questions. So I've been picking a lot of people's brains and reading and studying and learning and making a lot of mistakes. I'll tell you, that day I put in the electric fence, that was a painful day, but now I know how to do it. I just broke a mower blade on my lawnmower. Fortunately, I think Jeff's gonna help me replace the blade, so I'll just watch him and not have to do it myself. But you know, it's also really empowering when you look back on, you know, climbing these hills, these mountains, which sometimes just seem like, you know, you're just pushing this huge rock uphill and you don't know how you're gonna get over it, and then you do, and you look back and you're like, okay, I got this. So anyways, I'm gonna give you a quick tour and I hope you enjoy. Of course, we have Miss Baby. Okay, so here's the orchard. I did a tour of that, I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. It's coming along really nice. There's some trees I have to replace that didn't quite make it through the cold, a couple cherries, an almond tree. And then here is, it's right now a mix of veggies and flowers. You can see my garlic needs to be weeded. Got some asparagus in there. This is really a holding garden for the roses that I put in and some of the other perennials and peonies and dahlias that will eventually get moved. But this is the holding garden for now until their other space is ready. Here's the greenhouse. And then the lavender is filling in really nicely. It's been really hot and dry, which is bad for most things, but good for lavender. So these are all the lavenders I did a video of before that I propagated. And I mean, they're just sizing up like crazy. So here's this view. Got my water spigot in. Okay, here's the blue shed. If you remember, it used to be closer to the driveway and it was red. I painted it blue. Now, what I'm walking on right now is going to be future gardens, and this is where I'm going to move a lot of the perennial, you know, the roses and some of the fruit trees and create kind of like a French-inspired, very symmetrical type garden. But I'm waiting on, see, here's the pad. This pad right here needs to get expanded a bit because I've changed my plans a little. This is the pole barn right here where my tractor is located. It's going to be disassembled and for the most part reassembled back here. It'll need a new roof because, you know, by the time you peel that roof off and put it back up, there's going to be a lot of holes. So it'll have a new roof, but I really want to save the metal as much as I can. It has that really nice patina, and Danny and the family built that. So, you know, I'm going to spend more, I think, to save it, because it'll be labor intensive than if I just got all new materials. But I love the look of it. I like the sentimentality. And that's going to go here. So this is where I'll park my equipment, and I'll have I'll probably use one of the bays for hopefully teach some classes someday. So here's the other side of the greenhouse, and the idea is the back of the pole barn is going to have a porch, and so it's going to overlook, you know, this garden that the roses will be in and all of that. So this whole area that's full of weeds right now will end up, you know, having some pathways and interesting garden design. And then eventually, right out here at my current home where I live now, I have a greenhouse that's 20 by 40, and that's going to get moved and run perpendicular to this greenhouse. That'll happen in the fall. All right. So there's the fence that separates my property from Jeff's. And as soon as those cows went over on his side, it freed up, you know, all of this over here for me to, oh, excuse me, there's Jake. This is where the barn used to be, if you remember. This is like where the old barn was. And the red shed used to be, like I said, closer to the driveway, and we got it moved over here and painted. So we're walking up the hill now. And this used to be full of old fencing, which I've learned how to use the post jack. And the pond, there's still quite a few cattails, but I had that cleaned out. And it's really nice. I mean, there's a lot of snapping turtles, a lot of snakes. I'll never go in that thing. But I didn't even know this was here for a long time. It was just so covered with weeds and fence, and it's looking really good. One of my favorite things that's happened in the last month or so, as you walk up this hill, the tree closest to us is a sycamore, and the one behind it is an elm. And I had a neighbor help me put the ropes up on the tree, and he cut a couple limbs. Trent from Hutchinson Tree Service, and I did film it. I need to make a video still. And then my neighbor and good friend Adam helped put the knots up so I could put the actual swings. And the swings, one is a board that was left over from the greenhouse, and the other board is a piece of the old barn wood. So it's really fun to just hang out there on a swing. It's one of my favorite parts of the farm right now. Okay, so here is, you can see the pole barn up close, and see how beautiful that rusty patina is? That's what I want to save to go down there. And why am I moving this barn? This is the spot where the new barn is going to be, the construction. So it's going to overlook the pond. It'll face kind of down this way. So the point is, like, as people enter the property and they come up the driveway, they're going to drive up to the front of the barn. It's beautiful elevation. Where initially I was going to put it was where the old barn was. And someone pointed out to me, like, why are you going to build a new barn in such a low elevation right on top of Danny's house? And they were right. So one thing I've got to do is mow. Unfortunately, I've become a little bit more confident in my tractor skills, although I'm still really intimidated by it. It's a really powerful machine. Here's my shipping container. That's become my tack room. And then eventually this will be taken down, because where I'm standing right now is the locus. You know, this is where the location of the new barn will be. And once the new barn's built, the horses will have stalls in there. And then I've got to figure out, depending on cost, you know, how much of this stuff I can kind of recycle and move, and, you know, for other animals, or, you know, maybe I put something down in the orchard for shade if I do classes or have guests. I'm not really sure. And of course, here's our pals, Mr. Snort and Miss Blue. Snort turned 25 this in April, and Blue turned 15. So they've become my very good friends. There's their pasture. The pond, I mean, it's just looking so much better. You can see the view from here. So that's really it. I mean, I hope this, it lets you see visually better kind of the layout of everything. Oh, wow, I don't know what that is. Huh. It's a nice bird. I mean, look, not quite a duck, but not a heron, something in between. So I ended up with 40 acres, just maybe like 38 from Danny. And this area here is kind of, this is the hub of construction and the greenhouse business, eventual greenhouse business and all that good stuff. And then the pasture, I've got to figure out how to mow. And eventually, when I'm living over here, we'll kind of think about maybe some cows and pigs and all that. So what do you guys think? They've got front row seats to all of the changes. So that's the scoop for now. It's like I said, it's been a crazy few months. It's been a really interesting year. I close on my loan, probably in a month or so. What a time to lose W-2 status. But it's been an amazing week with all of my permits and all of that paperwork getting done and just continuing to push forward. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your encouragement. YouTube has been a nice thing because a lot of my family and friends live pretty far away. My family's in New York. I went to grad school in Maryland, so everyone's scattered everywhere, but it's become a nice way to keep in touch. I hope someday that you'll be able to visit me, and if you have questions on anything I'm doing, I'm happy to share everything I've learned, so just ask away.